I'm delighted to say that Minwoo Lee joins us now as part of our preview of this year's third men's major. Minwoo, great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
No problem, no problem. Happy to be here.
How's things in preparation for this year's third men's major, Pinehurst No.2? What do you know about it?
I don't know too much about it, just a couple of reports that I get from my stats man. Richie Smith, my coach, was there with Oliver Goss in 2014, so he's given me a bit of advice, especially with the greens and the turtle back greens. So a lot of chipping from running up bump and run shots that I normally don't really practice. So went out there today to a course where I can do that and be prepared for.
Hey, man, you rock into all these majors now. How much more comfortable are you after last year's US Open? You performed really well, rolling into this year, about the belief of, you're supposed to be there.
The consistency is there. The one miscut that I did do was I felt, it was a fourth week in a row and I was pretty tired and knackered and that's just something that I learned from. Four in a row is quite a lot. So there's going to be times where I do that, but I guess I can manage my time a little bit better. But the preparation is good. Didn't break any fingers, and the fingers healing up nicely. So no, it's going well. The game's coming along better. I changed my iron shafts last week at the Charles Schwab, and I hit it a lot better, and the stats were showing. So it was nice to have a change, especially in something that I've been struggling in. And it just got to the point where I'll change, and it turned out pretty good.
Have you started, now that you're one of those guys, have you started viewing majors differently and preparing a little differently, or do you just always wake up every morning and try to be as good as you can and see what happens?
It's stressful, but it's also fun. I love, that's why we practice and we want to be in these majors and play as good as we can. But, the other, tournaments that aren't majors, I still try to do as good. But, I guess trying to peak schedule-wise for the majors, I don't know how to, prepare to peak, but that's something I'm trying to work on.
Minwoo, you mentioned your coach, Richie Smith. What are you working on with him at the moment?
Yeah, not too much. Sometimes, when he is there, there's just because he is there, you want to, try to fix things and trying to tweak things. So right now he's with another client and another student, and I'm kind of just preparing myself to the US Open and trying to do what I did, before I did played well at the other tournaments this year. Just a lot of, trackman games and going out on the course. I played with Colin Morikawa and Kurt Kitayama last week. Most of the preparation is that bump and run shot. That's very important. There's not many courses where there's too many turtleback, and I've heard there's a lot. So I might not hit it as much as I think, but just to have it in the bag is, I think, is a one percenter.
So, Woozy, Minji had a great week at the US Open. Obviously didn't finish it off how she wanted to. She was probably pretty disappointed about that. But she's the one US Open champion in your family. Do you guys talk about that? And do you think there's sort of stuff that she may have learned last week in the US Open that she could pass on to you that would help you in this US Open?
Yeah, no, I try to tread that conversation lightly. I don't want to, my sister's pretty, fiery in a way, so I don't want to step on toes. I know she's a human and she's a golfer as well, and I guess it's fine if she asks for advice, but I think the other way, I don't want to, I want her to have a rest, and I want her to reflect on her game. So I don't really ask that question. What did you learn? Obviously, try not make too many bogeys and mistakes, but that's what happens on, Championship Sunday. So the way, when I watch her, it's just the same thing I always say. She's very level-headed, and I think you need that to win majors. And sometimes being fiery is good. But, when there's times where it goes the wrong way, I think you need to have that mental of, just keeping still, and hopefully you can, finish it off. But yeah, I don't try to ask too quickly.
Hey, man, give us a real insight to how different it is from playing a normal tour event on the PGA Tour and then going to a major and especially a US Open, the heightened anxiety that you have, walking through the gates, how different is that to a normal tournament?
Yeah, I think you just realise it, on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at a normal tournament, there's not too many people, not too many fans, spectators watching you. But then, when you go to Augusta, US Open, there's tickets for those 3 days preparing for the tournament. So that's like a big thing where, even in the practice round, you want to hit it good just because there's people watching you and wanting to watch you. So I think routine-wise, not too different for myself, but in tournament, just to have a little bit more mental preparation for each shot and even in practice.
Min Woo, it seems like every time we turn the TV on, there you are producing another spectacular hole out. I mean, you seem to have a real flair for those moments. There was the pitch in for Eagle at number 9 at Royal Queensland. You practice these shots quite obviously, but how do you pull them off?
When you miss a lot of greens like myself, you got to learn how to chip. So it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing. I'm obviously striving to be a better ball striker, and hopefully with these new iron shafts that it just slowly increase, and I can see a trend in positive strokes gained, which I did last week, and it seemed like it wasn't that big of a different change, and it was just a bit more spin and a bit more feel. So something small as that, and I mean I learned that from Adam Scott. He's one of the best ball strikers, and he seems like he changes irons every week. So I was like, I'm not that good of a ball striker and an iron player. I might as well change and see how it goes. So I did that, and I mean the chip-ins just come naturally. As a kid, I just put myself in terrible positions and try to make up and down or try to hole it. So it was I just like chipping in, and I've got a lot of confidence in chipping.
Well, if you produce a couple at Pinehurst No.2, the crowd will be whipped into a frenzy. So good luck this week in the US Open.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Let's take a look now at the Aussies who are playing in this year's US Open after all the drama, including final qualifying. We'll get to that in a moment as well. Jason Day automatically in the field, in pretty good form.
Yeah, look, Jace, I mean, we had a chat to him before the PGA. He seems in great spirits. He loves what he's working on with his game. His family life seems settled as it can be with 5 kids. He's swinging it really well. He's playing well. He seems up and about. And I think Pinehurst No.2 is a really good course for him. He is a great ball striker, but his real strength is around the greens. And Pinehurst No.2, it doesn't matter how well you hit the ball, you're going to have to get the ball up and down a lot. He's one of the best in the world at that, as we just see there, holing another bunker shot. So, I mean, Jason he has the type of sort of game build out to handle it at Pinehurst No.2. So we'll see. Always about the score, always about how you get off to a start, but we'll see.
Paul, Min Woo Lee will join us shortly here on the program. How about his chances?
Yeah, I think they're good. He likes the limelight, and major championships are right up his alley. Good US Open last year. And I think he's still mapping his way round with the best players in the world. He's rubbing shoulders with them every week. But, he's second in total driving on the PGA Tour, which is great. He's straightened up his driver. It does go a long way. His putting is nice and solid. If anything that's sort of lacking at the moment, it is his greens in regulation down at 64%. If he could up that a little bit this week, keep the ball in play, get the ball to the right parts of the greens. He's putting... he's a real streaky putter at times, but if he gets on a roll, watch out. And those 10s and 20-footers rolling at the right speed, and, he's a real contender.
Well, one man who isn't a streaky putter is Cameron Smith, but Geoff remarkably couldn't buy a putt at the Masters in the first major.
Yeah, it's interesting, Cam. I mean, his game is built for Pinehurst No.2. If you're going to design a golfer for Pinehurst No.2, you would say Cam Smith. He drives the ball well, his iron play is solid, but again, just like Jason, even more so, he's an incredible scrambler around the greens, and that's what's going to be required to win at No.2. I mean, he's going there to win. I mean, he's a major winner in his head. He wants to go there and contend. He wants to prove everyone that the decision that going over to the LIV isn't going to affect his career in the majors. So I'm sure he'll be motivated. I'm sure he's been working really hard. It's hard to know the form because we don't have quite as much form from the LIV guys, but you know, he shows up in the big one. So I'm sure he'll be there or thereabouts.
Big gap in their schedule at this point of the year. Jason Scrivener, a regular on the DP World Tour, Paul. Second US Open for him.
Yeah, you know, Jace is just one of those guys. He's the mild guy that just turns up to the golf course, does his job, and very methodical player, maps his way around the golf course nicely, very patient with his game, and 35 years of age. You know, moved to the US a number of years ago with his family to try to get on the US Tour, and he'll get there eventually. He's just a workhorse. He works really hard at the game, and you know, you never tell with these types of weeks if it's all week or not. A lot of fairways hits. He's a good ball striker. You know, he's one of those guys that just goes under the radar every time, and you never know. But it's a big stage.
Now, Cameron Davis and Adam Scott had to go through final qualifying. They were both in the field at Springfield, Ohio. It turned out to be high drama because, wouldn't you know it, they ended up in a 2-for-1 playoff head-to-head at the first extra hole. Adam Scott chips in for birdie. At that point, he's thinking, yes, I'm on the doorstep of booking my berth, but stepping up for birdie, a 15-footer. Cam Davis would make that and eventually hold sway over Adam Scott at the third extra hole. And here's what he had to say about booking his berth at Pinehurst No.2.
You know, got to just keep playing good golf. I mean, this golf was good. I was spraying it a little bit. You can get away with it here. So I know when you get to the US Open, you need to tighten it up a little bit. But I'm glad I've got the opportunity, and I'd love to take it with both hands.
Cam, this is no doubt something to celebrate. You're absolutely not the bad guy, but were you aware of the streak with Adam Scott, 91 straight majors, comes to an end here in this scenario? Were you any kind of aware of that?
I was not aware of that. I don't think I would have tried any less, but damn, I mean, yeah, it just goes to show how good a player he is. So I had to hit a cracking shot into this one here to get it on top of him. So, you know, he's been an idol of mine. It was great to play great golf against him. So, yeah, all the best to him. Hopefully he still finds a way in. He's right on the bubble world ranking-wise. So, you know, fingers crossed we can both be there, and that'd be a lot of fun.
What a turn of events for Cam Davis to qualify for this year's US Open, Geoff. And, well, the sweet-swinging Sydney-sider, he showed up at Augusta.
Yeah, Cam has all the game. I mean, just that little video shows you how hard it is to get into a US Open. If Adam Scott and Cam Davis have to qualify. But, I mean, yeah, Cam's got the most envied swing on tour, I think. He just swings it beautifully. He hits the ball really, really well. He does everything well, really. He just needs to sort of put it all together in the bigger tournaments. There's no pieces missing from his game. He was a great performer at the President's Cup last time, so we know he can sort of handle the big moments. And it's just sort of waiting for the time. Like you said, a decent Masters, and it's sort of time that a game of his level starts sort of performing regularly in majors.
And Adam Scott now, while missing out at final qualifying, he'll be a first alternate from Springfield. Still hope that he will be in the field, Paul.
Yeah, well, he'll still have to go there and prepare like he's going to be playing. It's always hard being a first alternate. But, you know, Adam Scott's year this year, you know, a 12th at Colonial. There's a lot of good parts of Adam's game. We always talk about his ball striking and his driving the ball, but his putting this year has been top-notch. When you've got other professionals talking about your putting, it must be pretty damn good. And, you know, he's wheeling this wand very nicely and hitting a lot of good shots. So hopefully he does get into the Open, because you know, at 42 years of age, he is not stopping one bit.